Hi everyone, I'm Savannah, and my absolute favorite purchase that I've ever made is probably my Kindle, so today we're going to talk about it. Quick backstory, I got back into reading in April of 2022, and I can contribute that to two things. The first one is that I finally gave myself permission to read fiction books. I went through this big long stint of probably from like after high school until now, I'm 26 years old, where I felt like I had to read nonfiction because I always felt like I had to be productive. And I feel like when I finally gave myself permission to read fiction and actually take reading as the thing that it is, which is a nice hobby, something to take your mind off of things, reduce anxiety, all of the amazing benefits that reading has, and I finally just took that and I allowed it to be that for me, to just be a hobby, is one thing that really got me back into reading. The second and most important thing that got me back into reading, literally I will swear by this, is getting a Kindle. I went through this really extensive phase from pandemic times in like 2020 to 2022 where I bought so many books. Like I said, all of them were nonfiction, and I really had good intent with these books. I knew that they would help me with various things I was going through, and I knew that they were books that I really should read. However, despite my intentions and buying all these books, spending money on them, they sat on my shelves. Literally to this day, I still have not read these books. And so around 2022, I started getting this inkling, like I really wanted a Kindle. And I really was talking to myself, and I'm like, you don't need a Kindle. You are buying all of these books and you're not reading them anyways. If you're not reading at all, like you don't need to just like spend money on something else. Like I really was just worried it was gonna be another one of those things that you kind of just like waste money on. I was like, I have a phone, I have an iPad. If I want to e-read, I can do on both of those things. I've done it on both of those things. And you have all of these books sitting at home that you can use. So you don't need a Kindle. And so this was the narrative that I had going on in my head. And honestly, like that's probably a smart financial decision to make. And so I got my first Kindle on a major whim. It was the day before my husband and I were scheduled to go to the West Coast for about a week-long trip, and the Kindles were on a major Father's Day sale, and so I literally just bought one and had it shipped at the house, and it literally got here, I think, 30 minutes before we left for the airport. And that is the start of my life being forever changed and me getting back into reading. And so since the Kindle has drastically changed my life for the better, I want to give you 10 reasons why I feel like Kindles are better than physical books and why I feel like you need to get one. Before we jump in, I just want to say that whatever medium it is that helps you to read is the best medium for you. I just want to share my personal experience because I know as somebody who loves reading and really had the best intentions of reading for all of those years but couldn't, the Kindle has really changed my life. And I just feel like if this was my experience, other people may be experiencing it as well. So I'm really hoping that this video can help somebody. All right, starting off, my first reason that Kindles are better than physical books is they are so light. So I actually have two Kindles. This is the first one that I got. It is the original Kindle. This is the 2019 version, and they now have a 2022 version, but it's basically the same thing. This is just the original Kindle. And then the second one that I have is the Kindle Paperwhite. And I have reasons that I got two, and I can explain to you later why I have two. But basically what you need to know is they are so small. When I unboxed this is the first one I got, I could not believe how light this is. It is way lighter than a cell phone. It is very, very small. Like this is my hand, and it is the size of my hand. It is extremely thin. The Paperwhite's the same. This one I even have a case on, and they are just so small. The Paperwhite is definitely a little bit heavier. And again, we talk about the difference between these a little bit more later, but what you need to know is they are so light. Now, this is important for a multitude of reasons, but the first one is that you can take your books with you all the time. This I showed before literally fits into my Lululemon belt bag. It is so small. These are just so easy to toss in your purse, bring with you, and you have the entire world of books at your fingertips. Versus if you're bringing a book, this is a relatively larger book, okay? We can admit that, it's a hardcover, we know. But it is so much smaller than if you're trying to bring a book, and this is all of the books, and this is just one book. So that is the first thing. Like when you were packing for vacation, if you are going on a beach trip and you're someone that really, really likes to read books, if you are taking a stack of books on your trip, that is not only weight to your suitcase, but that is space to your suitcase. And we all know that they can get messed up. And with this, you can literally just have as many books as you possibly want. Say you bring 2 books, but you end up wanting to read a lot more than that. You just don't have to worry. Like they are so small and you have all of the books that you ever need right here at your fingertips. The second one is a little pathetic, but this is just the world that we're living in, and it is just the truth. The truth is that we are used to reading on screens. It is a habit that we already have. Without us even realizing it, we pick up our phones a million times a day, and we look at a screen, we have our computers. It is just something that our brains are already used to doing. If you're in the habit of reading physical books, that's great, and this may not be a problem for you. Like back in high school, and this was the norm, it wasn't an issue. But if you've been out of the habit of reading, for some reason, the act of picking up a physical book, opening up the physical book, reading the physical book, and not getting distracted by a screen, it's a lot. It's honestly a lot. Versus the Kindle, I feel like it is a much easier habit to adopt because you are just used to looking at a screen. So once you start looking at it, your brain doesn't really get distracted and it doesn't think about your cell phone. I don't know what it is. I'm just telling you from experience and from what I hear from other people. You are so used to looking at a screen that when you're reading this, your brain doesn't really think about your phone the same way that it does when you're holding a physical book. I can get so much more distracted. The third thing about a Kindle that is just unmatched is that you can read in any lighting. The obvious one is that you can read at night. Yes, we know you can all see at night because these are the screens. This is what the text look like. You're probably seeing some glare from my ring light in front of me in the window, but you can see the text at night. You can adjust the brightness and all of that jazz. But the really important thing that I think is just critical, like that is so amazing, is that you can read in sunlight. So when you're at the beach and you are like under a towel and you're really like struggling to see your book, like that's always my experience, and you cannot see the book, you can see these in broad daylight. So when you're at the pool, you can literally sit in the pool and it can be 90 degrees and the sun is beating down on you and you can see your screen, and it is a miracle. Like you don't have to squint, nothing. You can have your sunglasses on, whatever. It is crazy because you know how you can't see your cell phone. So it's not the same as an iPad. It's not the same as a cell phone. It's not the same as a book. For some reason, you can't see any of those things outside, but I think it has something to do with like how these are backlit. You can read this perfectly outside. It is incredible. For this reason alone, even if you are a book person, I highly recommend getting a Kindle. This is a perfect segue into my fourth reason, which is that Kindles are waterproof. Now, I do want to say that they're not all waterproof. This one is not waterproof. This original Kindle is not waterproof. I believe all of the rest of them are. That is why I got a second Kindle, because I love this one because of the size and the portability and everything, but the Paperwhite is the next version up that is waterproof. This is so wonderful because when you're at the pool and you can actually read your screen, if the kids are splashing, which they do, and it gets like water on your Kindle, you don't have to worry. Because for example, if you're reading on your cell phone, reading on an iPad or anything like that, obviously you don't want to take the risk of dropping that in the pool or getting splashed or anything like that. And then if you have a book, yes, it may not like completely destroy it, but soggy pages, and then when they dry, they're crinkly pages, you just don't want that. And so it's so nice to be able to have a reader where you don't have to worry about that. This is also really great for being in the bath because if your hands get wet, again, if you like drop it a little bit, like water is not going to ruin this thing. I have gotten water on this thing. I've not submerged it completely, but I've gotten water on it and it really is not a big deal at all. It just wipes right off. Number 5 is another that is reason enough alone to buy a Kindle, and that is that it is so much easier to hold. Basically what you're looking at here is a Kindle is about the size of 1/2 of the book. So you have this book and it has these two sides. Anyone who's ever read a book is gonna get this pretty easily, but just like hear me out. So you have these two sides of a book. This is one page. So when you are laying down and you're trying to read and you're holding a book above your head like this, number one, that is really excruciating on your arms. It just doesn't last long. If you're laying on your side, it is really difficult to know how to hold the book. That's when you get the people that like fold the books behind. A lot of us really don't like doing that. And it's just like really hard to know how to read. So a lot of times you're left just like reading like sitting straight up, and that's just not always how we want to read if you want to read at night and then relax. This is totally different. So when you're reading, if you are holding the book above your head, okay, it's like this. It is super light so it doesn't kill your arms. If you drop it on your face, you're not going to break your face off. It's not the same as dropping this Atomic Habit book on your face. And then if you read on your side, it's only this one thing, so there's nothing else to like worry about. And then you just turn the page by pressing over here. So it's just like a one finger thing. You're tapping and you change the page. It's wonderful. This also goes along with like how you can read in any lighting like we already talked about, but this feature of like how it's easy to read is really great as well because I personally read every single night before bed, and I am married. So if I were to have a physical book like this, and I would have to have a book light, number one, that just adds on like a whole extra like contraption to have up here, but it's a lot like noisier and you're moving around more, and like you have to have that light on, and it's just like more disruptive, I feel like, to someone than when you just have like this tiny little Kindle and you're reading. It's just like a lot more discreet when you're reading when like someone else is in your bed. My sixth reason is that the Kindle holds your place for you. Gone are the days where you lose your bookmark or it falls out and then you completely forget where you're at in your book. The Kindle is really nice because whether you just like lock it, which just like turns the screen off, or whether you actually turn the Kindle completely off, it automatically saves your place and you can pick it up on different devices. So I can start reading on this one and be like, all right, hey, I'm gonna go to the pool. And then so I can like pick up this one and take this one to the pool because this one's waterproof and it knows exactly where I'm at. This is also really nice too because there's a Kindle app, so you can put the Kindle app on your phone. And so say you completely forget your Kindle, or you just like weren't expecting to need your Kindle and you end up like in a line or waiting or something, you can pick up your phone and go to the Kindle app and you can be exactly where you were on your Kindle and you can just start reading some. And that's really nice because that helps with like in those like couple moments where you like open Instagram or open TikTok and scroll, you're actually like reading towards your book. So it kind of just like really helps being able to have so many devices that you can read on, pick up right where you're at, and like not need to have it with you. So I just love that. The seventh tip is so cool and it is one of my favorite features about the Kindle is gone are the days are counting ahead to how many pages you have in the left chapter. You know what I mean. The Kindle is really nice because at the bottom, if you don't want anything, I'm gonna try to get close enough so you can see. If you don't want anything down here, nothing will be there because sometimes it can be distracting. But if you click in this bottom corner, it'll tell you the percent through the book that you are. So right here, 27%, you're on page 96. And then if you click it again, it says 27%, 8 minutes left in the chapter, 5 hours and 13 minutes left in the book, and then your location in the book. So it is so extremely nice because you know exactly how far you are in the book. Like you can like measure your progress. If you're someone that really thrives off of progress, you can see, okay, I just started the book and I'm already like 30% through. And then you can know what page you're on. You can know how many minutes are left in the book. So it calculates based on your reading speed. So that happens to me a lot of times where I'll like want to turn the Kindle off and I'll just be like, oh, I have 3 minutes left in the chapter. I'm going to finish it. And it just helps you to get more reading in that way. Plus it like saves you a lot of like time and energy because you're not like counting ahead and then like accidentally seeing things that you don't want to see yet. It's just really convenient for avoiding that. Number 8 is a really quick one. It's that if you're laying in bed and you finish a book and you want to immediately start another one, you can do that right away. You do not have to get up and go to your bookshelf. You do not have to wait until you can go to your local library or bookstore or Barnes & Noble or whatever it is. You literally have the world of books at your fingertips. Like I said again, you can just start another one and stay right where you are, which again is really, really, really good for vacation. Number 9 is that they are really customizable. If you're reading a book and you don't like something about the way that it looks, tough luck, you're stuck with it. It is so nice because you can customize the font, the brightness, everything like that. So basically here is the screen. So you can click this A up here and you can do different themes. So compact, you can make it so the words are like really, really close together. You could do large, so they're really big. So if you're doing something like you want to walk on the treadmill while you're reading, you can make them big. Font, you can change what kind of font, so literally what the text looks like. You can make it bold if you want, like make it bigger. You can change the size, you can make it like way bigger. So there's like all kinds of things that you can do. Plus you can go here and you can change the brightness. So you can make it way brighter, way less bright, depending on the lighting that you're in. And same thing, you can change the warmth. So now I'm gonna have to go back and change all my settings. And lastly is that you can make highlights and notes and it will sync to Goodreads. So basically what this means is if you are anything like me and you're reading a book and you like to highlight in your book, whether that's like cute little quotes or whether you're reading a nonfiction book or like a textbook for school and you need those notes. It's so common, for example, if you're reading a book like Atomic Habits, that you'll go through and you'll make all kinds of highlights, but seriously, how often is it that you actually pick that book back up and look through your highlights? Or how often is it that you have the highlights in your actual physical book when you need it? The Kindles are incredible because you can do this where you go like this and you actually bookmark the entire page. You can do that and like I'll get rid of the bookmark, or you can highlight. And so say you want to highlight, you just go like this and you drag it down to wherever you want to highlight. You click highlight and it will keep it highlighted. And then the other thing that's really cool is if you click on it, you can click note and you can actually like type in a note. So if this was something like Atomic Habits and you like had a thought about it, blah, 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 and then save. And then so basically your note is associated with that comment. And so what Goodreads is it is a place where you can do so much for books. It's a free thing, and you can put like books that you've read, books that you want to read, books that you're currently reading. You can update your progress. It's a social thing, so you can like connect with your friends and you can see like where they're reading, what their reading challenges, like all of that. So you can create your own reading challenge. It's really cool. But the main thing, like the main point that I have to make about this is that all of your highlights will save on Goodreads. So you can put, okay, I finished the book Atomic Habits, and you can click on Atomic Habits, and all of the highlights that you took on your Kindle will be on your cell phone, like on Goodreads, or you can use it like on your computer, and they'll all be there. So if you're reading a book for like school, or if you just have like quotes and you just like to keep your quotes, like literally whatever the reason is, you can go into Goodreads and all of those highlights will be right there for you. So every book you've ever read, all of the highlights versus being like stuck in your bookshelf at home when you need them when you're at school, they're all with you on Goodreads, and you can do whatever you want with them. It is incredible. Same thing with your notes, and you can like share them if you want. Like you can pull them up for book club if you're getting ready for your book club and you all of a sudden get there and you can't remember a single thing that happened in the book. You can pull up the things you highlighted, pull up your notes. It is incredible. I hope this was helpful for you. There is so much more that is to be said about Kindles, so if you have any questions, please leave them below. I do plan on doing a lot more videos where I dive a lot deeper into some of these things, and then also where I will talk about like some of my favorite books and give you some recommendations. So leave anything that you have for me in the comments below. I've also linked the Kindles if you want to look into getting yourself one. You can buy them at Amazon, Best Buy, Target, and Staples, I believe. So yeah, anything you want to see in the future, any questions you have, leave them in the comment box below and I will get back to you. I love you all so much. I will see you in the next one. Bye.